Okay, and now we come to the next game. Next we have this game, Voyeur. And in this game you play a private investigator and you have to gather enough evidence to destroy the career of a man named Reed Hawke. And he's the CEO of Hawks Industries and he wants to run for president of the United States. And you have one weekend to get enough evidence from the Hawke family with a hidden camera. Since they spent one weekend at his residence, and yeah, the game is basically more or less some kind of a soap opera slash interactive movie, and it's pretty similar to the games Night Trap and Double Switch. So in the end you just watch some scenes, and every scene that you watch your character records with his camera, and throughout the game a lot of scenes will happen at the same time, so you have to choose which conversation you want to record, or sometimes you can only listen to them. It doesn't really have much of a gameplay, but I actually have to say that I played it actually longer than I wanted. For some kind of reason it was kind of interesting, and maybe I give this game another day, a second try or another go. This is one game that I think is interesting, but I don't know if I should recommend it or not. Okay, but we continue with the next game. And before we come to the next game, since I showed you Voyeur, now it didn't have a rating on it, but it is considered more or less an adult title for the CDI, and I also wanted to show you a couple of stuff that was released for the CDI, which is more or less for adults only, but don't worry, I'll keep it as clean as possible, and I'll show you those two CDI titles, or let's say one of them is a CDI title. This is called Playboy's Complete Massage. It has an adult only rating, and this one is Playboy Celebrity Centerfold Latoya Jackson. This is actually a video CD, but since it has the sticker for the CDI, I also wanted to mention this. Even if it has an adult only rating on it, those titles are not pornographic. They are pure erotic, so there is some nudity in those things, but nothing more. I only wanted to show you that there were also some adult titles for the CDI, but those are actually movies, and I'm not gonna show you scenes from those, but there also were some games. And the first one that I wanted to show you is this one. This is Strip Poker Live. Like I said before, this is just pure erotic. So yes, a strip poker game, it's normal that the goal is to undress your opponent. Again, I keep it as clean as possible, so I'm not gonna show you real nudity or anything, but I just wanted to show you a little bit of the game. And one interesting thing that I noticed while playing this game is, number one, this game was made for female and for male players, so you also have female and male opponents. Except for that, there's not a lot more that I can add. It's poker, it's strip poker, and yeah, you get what you paid for, let's call it like that. Okay, the second title that I have from adult titles is this one, Strip Poker Pro. Again, also strip poker game for the CDI, and again, this strip poker game was also made for female and for male players, so you can also play against female and male characters.
Super! What a skill! You are a real pro.
And again, it's strip poker. The only thing that I noticed while playing this game was that those characters, or let's say the computer AI, is pretty tough. So they are actually very good poker players, or I had bad luck while playing this game. But yeah, like I said, I also wanted to show you this game. One thing that I also wanted to mention very quickly is that one funny thing, the game actually tells you when you lose what clothing you have to strip down. So actually the game tells you that you have to strip also, like the characters in the game, which I think is pretty funny. Okay, but now let's continue with the last adult title that I have for the CDI, and that is this one, Vegas Girls. This one also has an adults only rating on it, and this time the adult only rating is actually not really that wrong. I mean, again, this is just pure erotic and nothing pornographic or anything, but let's call it like that. Those ladies in this game really know how to strip, I have to say. And the sticker on here, this is not the price that I paid. I bought this game years ago, and actually I don't remember how much I paid for it, but it's not the original price tag. This game has a couple of differences from the other two games that I've shown you before. Number one, you only play against female characters, and you can actually play different games. You can play roulette, you can play poker, you can play slot machines, or you can play blackjack. And if I have the choice, then I prefer blackjack over poker. This was actually a very tough title for me to find a video scene of one of those ladies. That was nothing to really worry about. But anyways, so this was Vegas Girls. I can't show you more of those games. I also don't want to show you more of those games. All the adult titles are pretty rare and hard to find. They are not as expensive as Sailor's Adventure or anything, but again, I just wanted to show you that there were also some adult titles for the CDI available. But now we continue. Next we have Mad Dog McCree, and now we come to the light gun shooters. Mad Dog McCree is like every light gun shooter that I'm gonna show you, one of the Laserdisc arcade light gun shooters. It's a Wild West light gun shooter, and yeah, you are the good guy and fight against hordes of bad guys, including the boss fights in the end of the game with Mad Dog. And all those Laserdisc light gun games are, yeah, since it's a full motion video game, they are very cheesy and yeah, a lot of fun to play them, let's call it like that.
Thanks, stranger. I'll forever be beholden to you. I know you're looking for Mad Dog. But remember one thing, he wears a bulletproof vest, and here's the keys.
Thank God you're here with the keys. I gotta get out of here. Mad Dog, you don't stand a chance. Let's go get him, stranger. I got him. Hey!
also one last thing that I wanted to mention about Mad Dog McCree and also about the other light gun games on the CDI is that the video quality is actually pretty good and maybe one of the best home console versions that you can get. I really like Mad Dog McCree, but now let's continue with the next game, and that is the sequel, Mad Dog 2, The Lost Gold. Also from the arcades, also Laserdisc game, like I mentioned before. It is more or less the same game all over again, but now with new material, new towns, new enemies, and yeah, it's more or less the same. One thing that I forgot to mention in Mad Dog 1, and that is also in Mad Dog 2, is that you can decide the scenes, how you want to progress through the game. And yeah, I actually have to say Mad Dog 2 is a little bit more cheesier, at least in my opinion, than Mad Dog McCree. And yeah, I also like it, but I think Mad Dog McCree, the first part, is for me a lot better than Mad Dog 2, but it's still a cool game for the CDI.
Find a treasure, return it to the mission, and receive your reward in heaven. Choose your guide.
Okay, next game is Crime Patrol, also from the arcades, also a Laserdisc game and also a light gun shooter. In Crime Patrol you start as a normal police patrolman and later on you become an undercover detective or some kind of thing, and as far as I know you later come to a SWAT team or Navy SEALs or whatever. I also like this game, don't get me wrong, I mean, but it's really super cheesy. I mean, I really hate the policewoman that is your partner or whatever, and also later on if you work undercover, it is so funny, or actually it was so funny for me while I played this game, that when you are in this nightclub and the people start to shoot, everybody else is minding their own businesses. I mean, nobody was scared that people are shooting everywhere and everything. So this game is so funny and so cheesy. It's so bad that it's so good in the end. I really like it, but not because I think it's a cool game, just because it's so cheesy. Okay, next game that I want to show you is this one, Drug Wars. This is actually Crime Patrol 2, also from the arcades, also Laserdisc game, also a light gun shooter, and yeah, this is actually more of the same, but it's not as cheesy as Crime Patrol 1. So yeah, what can I say? It's more of the same, and I like this one a lot more than Crime Patrol 1. And now we come to the next game. The next game is this one, The Last Bounty Hunter. This is actually, yeah, okay, it's again a Laserdisc arcade game, also light gun shooter of course. And this is actually the one light gun shooter that I have, that I like the least of all that I have, because this is super cheesy. This is actually too cheesy for me, and also because 2 times I came to 2 scenes where the light gun didn't work. And every time I got to this point, my enemy shot me because the light gun didn't work in those scenes. And I don't think that there's some issue with the light gun, I actually think that there's some issue with the game. So maybe I have a bad copy, but yeah, this one is the least favorite that I have of all the light gun games that I have.
Yeah, we were gonna remodel anyways.
We don't need you around here, bounty hunter.
Of course, I could be wrong.
Forget health insurance. What you need is death benefits.
Okay, but now we come to the last light gun game that I have, and that is this one, Who Shot Johnny Rock, also a classic, also from the arcades, also a Laserdisc game and a light gun shooter, and that is actually my favorite light gun shooter on the CDI. And this time it's more or less a light gun shooter in the 1930s, 1940s maybe. And one difference right from the beginning, now you don't have a 6-shooter anymore, now you have, I guess you start with 250 bullets, and you actually can buy bullets if you get low on ammo. And what I really like about this game is, number one, you have to collect clues that you need in the end of the game, and number two, it is kind of cheesy, but they actually tried to make it a little bit serious. So there is some cheesiness in the game, but it's actually a pretty cool game. And again, the video quality of Who Shot Johnny Rock on the CDI is actually the best that I've seen so far on a home console. So I would highly recommend this game for the CDI. Actually, I would recommend all the Laserdisc, or better said, light gun shooters for on the CDI, for the CDI. So this is actually the last light gun shooter that I have for the CDI. Like I said before, I would highly recommend this one for the CDI, and all the others that I have, even the last Bounty Hunter, it still can make some fun playing this game. There is also another title that I don't have, and that is Thunder in Paradise with Hulk Hogan. But anyways, now we continue with the last games that I have for the CDI. And the next game is The Apprentice, and The Apprentice is a jump and run game on the CDI. Some people say that this is the best game on the CDI, and a lot of people say that this is the best jump and run game on the CDI. Well, for a jump and run game, I might also say that it is the best game, since there are not that many jump and run games available on the CDI. But best game, I would say it's a very cool game, but it might not be the best game in my case. But anyways, it is a very colorful game, it has very nice graphics. It is pretty hard, I have to say, because yeah, it has those basic one-hit kill features. Only if you collect some kind of a mini angel you can actually get hit twice, and yeah, then you lose a life. I would actually recommend this game. I also think it's a pretty cool game. One thing that I noticed in this game was, when you lose, yeah, the apprentice is surrounded by some kind of manga girls, or at least they reminded me of manga girls. And yeah, I have not figured out what's the deal with that. But anyways, now we come to the next game. And the next game is this one, Lucky Luke, the video game. And this is a side-scrolling jump run / shooter. And yeah, you play Lucky Luke, and you have to chase the Dalton gang through the United States. And so it has a lot of stages. And again, it also looks very very nice. It's a very colorful game. What I noticed while playing the game was that it was made by the same company that made The Apprentice. And yeah, Number one, very unusual. Number one, also the manga girls are in this game. Yeah, I don't know why. Also, another thing is that the weapons that you can collect, normally Lucky Luke only runs around with his 2 6-shooters, but in this game you get shotgun and even a machine gun or some kind of an Uzi. Yeah, never read this comic where Lucky Luke was running around with a Uzi, and also the fact that he actually shoots all the bad guys was new to me. But I would actually recommend this game. It's a very good looking game. It also makes a lot of fun. It's actually pretty cool, especially if you like Lucky Luke.
Darn.
Okay, now we come to the last game that I have for the system, and that is Flashback, or at least it's the last game that I want to show you in this review. Yeah, Flashback, and yeah, this game was also so successful that it made it to many other platforms, and it's a side-scrolling action adventure / shooter, but yeah, it also has a couple of riddles or puzzles that you have to solve, and one difference that you only have on the CDI is that the cutscenes are more detailed, or they actually made new cutscenes for the CDI version, or at least this was something that I noticed while playing the game. I know it's a pretty cool game. I've played it on many different systems. I never beat the game, but yeah, in the end this was the last game that I wanted to show you for this review. Like I said in the beginning, I just wanted to give you a big overview of the titles that are available or that were available for the Philips CDI. And in the end, I also would highly recommend this game, because I know it's a great game, and I also know that many people would also recommend this game. And yeah. Okay, now that I've shown you almost all the games that I have for the system, yeah, we also come to an end of this review. A quick recap. Like I said before, the system was a failure, but in the end it was actually a slow death for the system. I mean, it was released in 1991 and it was discontinued in 1998, so the lifetime of the CDI was about 7 years. And yeah, many reasons why the system failed. Number one, all the strategies from Philips didn't pay off. Not for that the system would be used for companies or businesses, also not really in schools. On the normal market, for the normal consumers, the CDI system actually failed with the strategy of a multimedia device. Also one thing, I mean, if the video CD actually would have been successful like DVDs, then maybe the system would have sold a lot better. And sorry, one other thing, I mean, the first CDIs that were released with a price tag of $699 US, it was pretty expensive. And yeah, also the strategy change from Philips in 1994 came way too late. I mean, the system could not compete anymore really with the other systems that came out at the time. Like I said before, with the Sega Saturn or the Sony PlayStation, or also the 3DO. And yeah, today the system is really popular for collectors, and yeah, the system is also known as the worst video game system of all time, or at least one of the worst video game systems of all time. I can understand why people think that it is the worst video game system of all time, or one of the worst video game systems of all time. If you don't like, let's say, point and click adventures or laserdisc conversions, or yeah, let's say full motion video games, then I can really understand why people don't like the system. But I actually think that it's actually not that bad, and there are some very good games available for the system. Also, one thing that I also think that the system failed was the games that were in the beginning only available on CDI. All the good games were also released for the PC, so it actually didn't had any any games that are only available on the Philips CDI and that were actually good. So every game that was good and was in the beginning only on the CDI also made it to other systems like the PC. So this was also another reason why people didn't buy the system. But anyways, like I said, I think it's actually not that bad, this system, and there are some good games available for the system. And I have here 3 stacks of games. Those are the games that I really like, those are the games that I think are, let's say, average, and those are the games that I personally don't like. So in the end, as you can see, I mean, those stacks speak for themselves, at least in my opinion. And also I think it's a really cool system to collect for. I mean, there are some very good games that are pretty hard to find and that are rare, and sometimes you have to pay a little bit more on eBay, for instance. And yeah, normally in my system reviews I also give some estimates on prices, what you have to expect on eBay. I can't really give you some prices that you would have to pay on eBay, because the Philips CDI games and systems, a lot of those prices change from month to month. And so it can happen that in 1 month you have you will find, let's say, a Grundig 110 for about $60 and Philips CDI 210 for let's say $70. And 1 month later you also find both systems, the Grundig 110 for about $150 and CDI 210 for about $200. So the prices varied a lot on systems and also games and accessory. So this is why I can't really give you some estimates on prices. Okay, but in the end, yeah, this was my review of the Philips CDI system. The history, the systems, the accessory, and also a huge lot of the games that I have for this system. I really hope you enjoyed the show, and yeah, maybe see you next time. Take care and bye!